Today we're going to be reviewing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The Super Mario Bros. Movie follows Mario and Luigi as they try to save Brooklyn by making their own plumbing company. Unfortunately, they never gotten a job right, and when they did, they actually failed. And when a flooding issue happens in Brooklyn, they go to the right source to stop it. Unfortunately, it goes wrong again, which ensues them into going into another world. Unfortunately, while going to this other new world, they are separated where Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom and Luigi ends up in the Badlands. And as a result, Luigi gets captured by Bowser and Mario has to team up with Princess Peach and Toad so they can team up with the Kongs and save the Mushroom Kingdom from the King of the Koopas, who is Bowser, who has stolen the superstar that will allow him to be unstoppable. So, my history behind the Super Mario Bros. Movie goes way back to, I believe, 2018, when Illumination announced that they would be making a Super Mario Bros. Movie. And this shocked a lot of people, mainly because of the films that they had from their first movie, which was Despicable Me, all the way up to their recent film, which was in fact The Grinch, that was coming out really soon. And just by going off of those films alone, they had more mediocre films than bad films. So a lot of people didn't really believe that a Mario movie made by Illumination and Universal wasn't going to really work. So as the years went by, the castings went along, the release date went along, and the movie was originally supposed to come out in 2022 in Christmas, but was delayed to spring of 2023. And I watched the movie the week it came out, and I actually liked it. The movie overall, before I go any further, I do want to just go ahead and tell you that I am not a Mario fan. Not in the sense that I don't like Mario, just in the sense that you're not going to see a plethora of Mario stuff all over my room. You're not going to see a collection of games in my room. You're not going to see a small collection of clothes all over my room, like I wear a Mario shirt or shoes. I am familiar with the character and I'm familiar with the games. I have played a small portion of them, and I know a tiny amount of TV shows based off of Mario, but aside from that, that's it. I'm not a Mario fan, so I went in this movie not really knowing much about the lore. I have some idea of the lore, but I still went in watching the movie just to have a good time. So, did I enjoy the movie? Well, I actually did enjoy it. The movie opens with Bowser and the Koopas infiltrating the Penguin Kingdom. Like I said, I don't know the lore that well. I only know a little bit of it, and the opening was actually very funny. It introduced Bowser amazingly as the antagonist of the film and the villain of the feature, and it was pretty vague in the beginning of what he actually wants, but then later when we see him again, it's clear why he stole the superstar, and it's just so that he can marry Princess Peach, because he is in love with her, even though she actually hates him. So after the attack, we go to Mario and Luigi, and we see them using their Italian accents. But then it's revealed that it's not their actual accents, it's just something they used for the commercial. And Chris Pratt and Charlie Day playing Mario and Luigi, I really love their portrayals. Now, even though you can hear Chris and Charlie playing Mario and Luigi, voicing Mario and Luigi, the thing about it is that even though you do hear their voices, you can tell they're not playing themselves. Chris Pratt is playing Mario, but he's voicing a character. He's not playing himself. And that same logic applies to Luigi. And we'll get to the other characters when we get to the other characters. And even though they did, in fact, successfully secure their first job as plumbers, it was ruined by an angry dog named Francis that is angry because Luigi stepped on his bone. And I can't really put that failure on them. Like, it was a mistake that Luigi did, but the dog was the one who chose to take it personally. It was a failed success because they succeeded, but then they failed afterwards. And then we go over to Mario's room that has a plethora of Nintendo Easter eggs. I do believe, yes, there was some Easter eggs of Zelda and Star Fox. He was playing Star Fox, and we also saw Paulatina, who was the mayor of New York City. And I did actually like that she was introduced in the film, but I didn't really I expected that she'd be a love interest for some reason based off of Odyssey, because that's what it was kind of alluding to from the games, I think. Like I said, I'm not that good with the lore, so if I'm ticking you off, I'm sorry. But anyway, they go off to actually solve the flooding problem that the employees and workers that are trying to stop the flooding is actually doing a bad job at. They go to the pressure valve, but unfortunately can't because the pipe couldn't hold them, and they lead into an area that apparently hasn't been, looked over for years, apparently. How? I don't know. But it's a kid's film, so you're not supposed to question location if it's an abandoned location, apparently. Anyway, after this, they go into the Mushroom Kingdom, and we see how both brothers are adjusting to the new world that they are thrown in. Things are actually relatively easy for Mario, already finding an ally that will help him in his journey of finding Luigi so that he can get back home, whereas Luigi is already in trouble with dry bone Koopas that doesn't really capture him. Rather, instead, it's those ghost face things. And we constantly go back and forth to see what Mario and Luigi is doing. So we see Mario finally going to the kingdom with help from Toad, getting to the princess, and he goes into training so that he can finally go with Princess Peach. But even though he did fail, he's still going to be going with her. Even though he didn't succeed, she still accepted that he can actually go with her. And apparently she got the obstacle course right away. Like, it wasn't hard. But her excuse was that she grew up here, which I can go by when you realize where she really came from. After this, we go back to Luigi, and he's on the way to be sent to Bowser. And after that, they go on their journey. And after this, Toad actually joins along, and I actually found it funny that Toad joined without going through the training that Mario did. And that actually found it very funny. This was something, when I first watched this movie, this is something I realized after the movie was over. How was Toad able to go with Mario and Peach when he didn't even go through the training obstacle course that Mario did, and he wasted all night trying to accomplish? And after this, we actually go through a lot of landscapes. We see a stampede of Yoshis, and we do see one Yoshi noticing Mario and the others, but goes back to the other herd. And after this, we are introduced to, honestly, the funniest, most trendy song that Jack Black has ever sung, Peaches. And it was a song that was stuck in my head a long time within the year that it came out. Although I don't sing that song anymore, I am thinking of watching it after I am done with this review. But with that said, it was actually a really good song. Apparently the movie was originally supposed to be a musical, but when people found out about it, people hated the idea of it. And Illumination does know the way around when it comes to songs, rather it's their own or just a jukebox. The Sing movies are a good indicator of that, and, well, I guess to me, I think that's their only true indicator. But I do believe that they were going to make actual songs. I don't think it was going to be like a jukebox musical where Mario sung songs that already existed. Like, we weren't going to hear Mario sing No Sleep Till Brooklyn instead of it being played in the movie already early in the film or something like that. But from there, they reach the Kongs, and a fight between Mario and Donkey Kong happened, and everyone was getting full-on Smash Bros. Vibes with that fight, which makes sense because Mario and Donkey Kong is in Smash Bros. And I did actually like the creativity of the fight. It showed Mario's agility. It showed how good he is when it comes to parkour and how he is in terms of combat. Although he can't really beat Donkey Kong naturally in a fight with the strength that he has, it's because of the power-ups that he's able to actually one-up him. And the one that helps him the most is the cat box, which actually helped him a lot. So they win, and now the Kongs are going to help them beat Bowser. And then we go from Super Mario to Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart. Anyway, they get carts and they're going to use it to drive down their secret, path back to the Mushroom Kingdom. But unfortunately, for some reason, there's this source that has been going around throughout the entirety of the movie. Apparently, Kamek has a source that tells them what's going on, and for some reason, they know every little detail. The movie never explicitly states who this source is, so it's weird that they know everything, but it's also weird that we never got to know. But the overall rainbow chase scene, was actually really great. I love the creativity, how we constantly see how everyone's doing. First we see Mario, then we see Toad, then we see Peach, and then we go back to Mario. And yes, the whole scene was actually really amazing. I really, really, really loved it. Then the team is split up where Mario and Donkey Kong are eaten, and Peach and Toad goes back to the Mushroom Kingdom empty-handed. Mario's gone, or so they think, and they lost the army. So there's no one that can help them fight back against Bowser and his army. And when they go to fight him, well, they find out why Bowser's here. He wants to marry her. And with that all being said, obviously she said no. But she was forced into saying yes when Bowser used Kamek to torture Toad. So as a result, the two of them were captured. Toad was captured as a hostage, and Peach was captured as a bride for Bowser. And then we go back to Mario and Donkey Kong as they hash out their issues. So throughout the entirety of the movie, literally since their introduction, they basically hate each other. With Donkey Kong, it makes a lot of sense because he just wants approval from his dad. He wants his dad to love him, and apparently he believes that his dad thinks he's a joke, which is so this is basically his inferiority complex. He's just trying to please his dad. He just wants his approval, and from his perspective, Mario is getting in the way of that, which leads to their overall rivalry. Although their rivalry does slowly burn out after they're eaten, their team up together does actually feel in sync. They do find a way out, and they do fly over to save Peach and Toad, and this is when Peach uses an ice flower so that she can beat Bowser and the Koopas that are there. And while scrolling, they said blah blah blah. Peach is basically Elsa from Frozen. I get it. And from there, the fight goes between two ways. It's Mario and Donkey Kong teaming up so that they can go up to save Peach, and then there's Peach fighting the Koopas. And as soon as she's overwhelmed, Donkey Kong and Mario comes in. Donkey Kong stops everyone from being killed by the lava, and Mario comes in to save Luigi as the two brothers finally unite, and he uses the Tanuki suit. Yeah, see, I told you I've been paying attention. The Tanuki suit to save Luigi, and also to stop the Bomber Bill, which causes a vortex that sucks all the characters, or at least the main ones, into Mario's world, and the final battle finally comes into play. Mario's alone, so he gets beaten up by Bowser, and he loses his courage, I believe. This came out of nowhere for me because Mario's never really been afraid before. I guess it makes sense because he's never really actually been entirely beaten up throughout the entire year of the movie. So I guess this is his first time feeling what it's like to be punched, taking a punch, and being beaten up. So from there, he's just scared, but then he looks at a commercial between him and his brother Luigi, and he gets his confidence back. Mainly, not only that, but it's before this happens, Donkey Kong, Peach, and Toad comes in to help him and to fight Bowser. But in the background, they are restrained. Anyway, so Mario comes into play, and he tries to get the superstar with Peach's help, and Bowser uses his fire to destroy him. After this, Mario and Luigi takes the superstar, and they become unstoppable. They use his unstoppable power to beat Bowser and all of his goons, and his parents are seeing him, and after this, they are able to beat him. They use all their combo moves. They use lucky blocks to Lucky and power-up blocks to stop him. They use the environment to get momentum and to be even faster. And even his fire isn't enough to stop them when they stomp on his head, destroying his castle. And when they finally win, they are able to stop Bowser. They shrink him, they put him in a jar, and he loses. And everyone finally understands what the Mario Brothers are capable of as they become heroes to the city. Even though this attack wasn't that big, they just wanted to, Bowser and the others just wanted to take down Mario because he ruined the wedding. But in the end, the city was still attacked by Bowser just so that they can get the Mario Brothers, but they still won in the end, and everyone now remembers Mario, Luigi, Toad, Princess Peach, and Donkey Kong as heroes for both the real world and the Mushroom Kingdom world. And the movie kind of has this abrupt ending where apparently they're now living in the Mushroom Kingdom world, and we get a title card, and the mid-credit scene shows Yoshi, and there's no end credit scene after that. Overall, this movie was actually really great because, like I said, because I'm not a huge, amazing fan of Super Mario Brothers, I still love Mario as a character. I may have not have played all of his games. I do remember playing a few games here and there. I've played a few Mario Karts. I played Odyssey before. I played Galaxy before. And I even main Mario in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So you guys can let me know what kind of fan that makes me. As I always said, I'm a low fan of the character overall. So, like I said, I came in this movie not a full fan, but understood the character enough to care. And I left the theater feeling fulfilled watching the movie. Like, I genuinely did like the film. The animation was okay. I loved it. It went out of the Illumination's comfort zone because their character designs are usually lanky, skinny characters. And none of these characters in the movie, their character designs are nothing like that. So when you watch this movie, you don't get the impression that this is an Illumination film. I don't know what kind of film you would think it is just based off of the animation, but it is an Illumination film, and Illumination and Nintendo scored this film amazingly. So here's my rating. I'm going to give the story an 8 out of 10, and the movie a 9 out of 10. Now this is because of the fact that the real problem I have is the fact that Mario and Luigi are absent for most of the film. That's really my only problem with this movie. It could have gotten a higher rating, but this is the rating it gets because of that reason alone. But hey, I still enjoyed it. And the second movie is going to fix that problem, but we'll get there when we get there.